So when we go to load the device, we approach our semen sample, which has ideally come to liquefaction, or at least as best as it can. We'll reach for our first of our 3 syringes, and we will pull up, as the name of the device suggests, 850 microliters of our semen. And once we have this ready to go, we can proceed with our first of 3 active steps, which is loading the device, the lower chamber, with our semen here. So I'd like to press down a bit, provide a bit of a twist so that I can, so I am able to ensure that we have a nice snug fit here. And from here, we're going to plunge down gently and methodically here. There's really no need to rush through any of these steps. As you'll see, they take mere seconds. So making sure we are using controlled movements is key here. And we want to ideally avoid any air bubbles from being injected into the lower chamber. So now we are done with step 1. And we're ready to move on to step 2, which involves our medium, in this case, sperm wash medium. So we'll reach for our second of the 3 syringes. And for this volume, it happens to be 750 microliters. And at this point, we are ready to overlay our medium onto the upper chamber of the ZyMōt. Now you'll notice in between the upper and lower chambers of ZyMōt, we have this microporous membrane. Now, think of it as an opportunity for the most vigorous, energetic, progressively motile sperm to find their way through, but also as a sort of pleasant limitation for sperm that are not displaying those same types of characteristics. So the site of the membrane is very important in this process. Therefore, we want to avoid touching it at all times. However, you'll also maybe remember that I mentioned this outlet port over here. Right now, that outlet port is dry, and we do not want to leave it dry. Otherwise, we may have an impediment in our flow later. So we want to saturate this by priming the outlet port with around 100 microliters of medium before we overlay the remainder on top of the membrane itself. So we'll start here and just deliver enough medium until you see it spill over the edge like so. Now we've broken that surface tension, and we know there will be no obstructions to our flow later. And from here, we will continue with the remainder of our medium, hovering around in a circular fashion, just trying to disperse it evenly so that all of the droplets ideally come together nicely. And if we have a little dry spot, there is a bit of relief between the edge of the device and the membrane itself, so you can very carefully guide the media where we need it to go, if that is the case. So now we have the device loaded with our semen in the bottom. We have our sperm wash medium overlaid on the top, and the outlet port channel saturated as well. And from here, we're ready to incubate. And this is where the Petri dish enters the picture. So we'll gently place the device within the dish and place the cover on top. This, of course, will make it much easier and tidier to travel to and from our incubator without spilling or shaking the device around too much. We want to avoid disturbing the device in any way as an operator. We want the sperm to be free to do the work with the device rather than us influencing it one way or another. So keeping the device stationary is very important. So now we're ready to incubate. So we'll move it to our imaginary incubator, and we will set a timer for 30 minutes. Now this is 30 minutes of uninterrupted free time, essentially, for you to go about your business in the lab, get a cup of coffee, whatever you need to do. And during that period of time, the most progressively motile sperm, of course, are going to be ahead of the other sperm in the cohort and have an opportunity to interact with the membrane first. And if they have the right swimming patterns, they will be able to penetrate the pores and be ready to collect in the medium above. If they have anything less than that, lesser qualities than that, they will either be bounced away or will just be floating around, swimming around aimlessly, or they'll never make it anywhere near there to begin with. So during this time, I said it's free time. Many people, if they have, let's say, 4 samples that they need to process that day, they will incubate the first one and then set up the next ZyMōt, load it, put that in the incubator, set another timer, maybe a 3rd or 4th device, and they're able to complete in succession 4 sperm preps in an incredibly short amount of time relative to other methods. Now, 30 minutes is an important number, even though it's a round number, because we see the highest yield of sperm after 30 minutes, but without any compromise or sacrifice when it comes to the incredibly low DNA fragmentation associated with ZyMōt sperm. We do not recommend leaving it any longer than that. So after the timer goes off, after 30 minutes, we'll bring ZyMōt back to our workstation, and I'd like to remove it from the dish so it's less likely to slide around. Because at this point, we have achieved an elegant separation where we have virtually 100% motile sperm on top of the device swimming in the medium, and we have everything else that doesn't make the grade or things we don't want, seminal plasma, still in the bottom of the device. So when we go to aspirate, we want to do so gently, slowly, and in a controlled fashion. So with our 3rd and final syringe, we will approach the device and insert it into the outlet port for the final time. Now from here, as I mentioned, we're trying to create a very gentle lateral flow across the surface of the membrane up into the syringe, slowly and gently. What we're trying to avoid via any harsh movements or rapid aspirating would be any upward or vertical force that could suck things through the bottom, through the membrane and into our syringe. So that's a long way of saying just take your time. And beginning to aspirate, this takes a few more seconds of anyone's day, and this, all the hands-on time, the technical time, amounts to a few minutes at most. So there's no need to rush. And once we have reached 500 microliters, we will stop. With the 3 milliliter device, which has more volume of semen going in, potentially, and more volume coming out, we're able to take up to 1.5 milliliters from that device. But this device, we wind up with a convenient volume of 500 microliters, so 1/2 of a milliliter. And this is now ready to go, and we have our options. If this is IUI, you can attach a catheter straight to it and hand it off for the IUI, or if we're considering ICSI or IVF or any time where we need to store the sample for later in the day, we want to do so immediately in a safe capped tube. And this will be ready on your bench top until you are ready to use it. So hopefully this made it clear that the hands-on time is very minimal. The amount of time that it takes to complete a sperm prep with ZyMōt is however many minutes it takes you to load it and the 30-minute incubation period. And labs love this because it removes user variance from the equation here. If everyone's doing the same thing every time, it doesn't matter if it's your first day on the job or if you're the lab director. If we had enough sample and 2 devices, we should see equivalent results at the end. We're not moving the sample through multiple containers, so we're shortening the chain of custody, which equates to less risk of error. And overall, all of these benefits, these qualities of ZyMōt just compound the more people use it in the lab, and efficiency begins to accelerate, and productivity as well. So that's how we use ZyMōt. We have an online training platform that's available to anyone for free via our friends at LaQuest. It's kind of fun. I helped design it. And it takes about as much time as it would to give a demonstration like this. You just watch some videos, answer some questions, and when you're done, you get a certificate at the end. And of course, our PECs and CAST teams are at your disposal for any help in your lab. And I'm always willing to help however I can, seeing that I've worked with the device for over 7 years now. Well, thank you for your time and for your attention. I'll be doing demonstrations such as this over at the ZyMōt podium for the rest of ESHRE. If you have any experience and you'd like to talk about it, or if you've never used ZyMōt before and would like to tell me about your situation, I'd be happy to have a discussion with anyone. Thank you for your time, ESHRE 2025. Thank you.